greatest treason is to do the right thing for the wrong reason. They say people won't like it if it don't got a good beat on it. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. Collectively, everyone gets together and they celebrate the man. They celebrate the dream, while altogether ignoring the message and ignoring history. Martin Luther King once said, "To remain silent is betrayal." So that is why I speak up today. As everyone has been distracted over the last couple days with Miley Cyrus twerking and Ben Affleck getting placed as Batman, the US prepares to go to war with Syria. War? Isn't it a 3-day assault? And why are we about to attack Syria? Yes, that is what the US has said. But Syria and Iran has made it blatantly clear that if attacked, they will attack Israel. And who is going to defend Israel? The United States. As for why they're attacking Syria, it is because they have crossed the red line. They supposedly use chemical weapons. Where have we heard that before? You're right to be skeptic. It is a civil war after all. But the question here isn't whether chemical weapons were used or not, because it obviously was. The question is, who used the chemical weapons? Earlier this year, in May, the Washington Times reported that the rebels, who include Al-Qaeda members in different factions, used chemical weapons. It was also cited from different sources that it was the rebels who used chemical weapons. And that is the reason why the UN inspectors are currently there, doing their job to determine what occurred during that instance. So, right now, although it has been used, chemical weapons, it's still unknown who used it. So that should not be a reason to go into a war. Especially since the Syrian government was already winning their war. They already had the lead, the rebels were on the retreat, and they know what is at stake if they use chemical weapons. So they had everything to lose by using chemical weapons. And they haven't used it up to now. So why would they do it? Oh, shit. Man, so what does the rest of the world think about it? Britain, France, and America have already made the moves to take military action. Russia and China say that military action should not be taken without a UN approval. The Arab League, a group of nations who this is going to affect the most, says that military action should not be taken. So the UN doesn't approve of it. The Arab League doesn't approve of it. What do Americans think? That's a good question. Only 9%. What? 9%. What? 9% of Americans think we should have an intervention in Syria. Wow. And they're still gonna do it. That's a really low percentage. But what were you saying beginning about a message in history? Yes, that is a really low percentage. But what I was saying about the message was that Martin Luther King was about peace and civil rights. During the Vietnam War, he came out against it. And he stated basically that we shouldn't be engaging in wars for no reason. That we should not be in unjust wars without goals. That we should not be at war just for the sake of being at war. And that is why we celebrate the man, but we miss the message. As for history, history has shown us with the Iraq War, where we went in for weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist, that we engaged in an 8-year-long war with no goal, that it was an unjust war. History has shown us that in Vietnam, where we entered a war on false pretenses for 11 years with no real victory, that it was an unjust war. And history has shown us that overly aggressive and zealous countries who go and start wars with other countries can initially start a world war. So as long as we continue to do what is unjust, as long as we continue to ignore history, we will be doomed to repeat it. So now is your choice to let your voice be heard. You have been informed. Now get engaged. Let's choose the right path of history. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. When you're done, visit the official webpage, www.informandengage.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Now that you know what to do, go out and do it.